everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Wagoneer S, the launch edition. It's finally here. It's arriving in dealers, finally. I posted an article the other day on Mopar Insiders, and I just haven't got around to doing a video about it, but yes, the all-new, all-electric Jeep Wagoneer S is finally reaching dealers. You can see these pictures here from South Point Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. This was the first one posted online. You can see it's still dirty. It just came off the truck from Mexico. This is a dealership in Texas, and they were so excited about getting the first pictures out there of it that it had finally arrived. They left it dirty. So, yeah, I had a chance to actually check out the Wagoneer S at the Detroit Auto Show last week. I was really impressed with it overall. I think it is a really nice vehicle. I'm not a huge all-EV person, but I can see this vehicle having a lot more success than obviously the Dodge Charger Daytona, mainly because of its price. This is a slightly smaller vehicle than the Dodge Charger Daytona. It's a four-door SUV. It's you look at the numbers. If you take a fully loaded Dodge Charger Daytona, you're paying almost $85,000. That doesn't include taxes and all that stuff, which is crazy. But performance-wise, the Charger Daytona gets 670 horsepower. It's got all-wheel drive. You look at this Wagoneer S, and this thing has a rating of 600 horsepower, the same amount of torque. And the very interesting thing is that the Wagoneer S Launch Edition 4xe is actually the fastest Jeep product ever produced. This vehicle is 1/10 of a second faster, 0 to 60, than the Trackhawk, the Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. And if you look at actual stats against the Dodge Charger Daytona, it's 1/10 of a second slower than the Charger Daytona Scat Pack. So again, this vehicle costs about $72,000. You're paying $85,000 for a Charger Daytona. And then when you talk about range, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because the Wagoneer S has a 300-plus mile range rating. When I say 300-plus, if you look at the window sticker, it says roughly about 303 miles of range. Where if you look at the Charger Daytona, the Scat Pack model, it gets about 260 miles of range. Now, I've driven the Charger Daytona. I know it'll get better than that. If you do the one-pedal driving and you actually do the very aggressive regenerative braking, I'm sure you can best the 260 miles of range. I drove it for 3 hours the one day, and I was doing pretty good with it. But this vehicle, again, you get 4 full-size doors. You got plenty of room. I'm 6'1", over 300 pounds. I sat in the thing. I had tons of room in it. It was smaller than my Durango, but it wasn't like super tight. Where you really kind of see the difference compared to the Durango is in the second row, but the second row is still quite roomy. The Launch Edition is just cracks me up because it's full of like options. This is like your fully loaded Wagoneer S. So you got a panoramic sunroof. You have heated and ventilated front and rear seats. You have a 1200 watt Macintosh stereo system in this thing. You have, it's got everything. It's got a passenger, the 10.25 inch passenger screen, dual wireless chargers for phones. It's just set up really nice. It's got fog lights up front. If you look at the Charger Daytona for $85,000, you get a glass roof, but it doesn't open. You don't get a passenger screen. So if you like the tech gadgets, the Wagoneer S is the way to go. It's considerably cheaper. You don't get heated and ventilated seats in the back of the Daytona. And with the hatch on the Wagoneer S, you can put probably close to the same amount of stuff in the back with the seats down and stuff as the Charger Daytona. Keep in mind, the Charger Daytona is a little bit bigger, but you can use the space better in the Wagoneer S. The Wagoneer S also weighs 200 pounds lighter. So you do have that benefit as well for range and stuff. So it's just an interesting vehicle. I can't wait to actually get my hands on it and drive it. But ever since I posted this article, we've seen a huge amount of people flood to Facebook, dealers, and post pictures. So like here is a brand new Wagoneer S in white, which looks super sharp. If you notice on what the design studio did, was this is the first Jeep that we've seen with no chrome. There is no chrome. I mean, you can get blacked out packages, but there is no chrome on this vehicle at all. So this is how it's going to be through all the trim levels. Now we're going to see, again, Jeep was saying that they're going to have different models for 2025. We haven't seen them release anything yet because they're focused on selling these 2024s first. But what we're hearing is that the lineup is actually going to get names. So originally they were going to have like a Series 1, 2, and 3, and then an Obsidian model. So the dark blacked out model. This is what the Obsidian has. If you look at the wheels, it's all blacked out. But we're going to probably have actual name packages with these vehicles. So they'll probably go along with the Jeep brand. So we might have like a Sport. We might have limited model, and then we might have a Summit. So keep that in mind going into 2025. But the launch editions is the only way you can go for 2024, and it's very attractive. I really like these wheels. I was really happy with how the exterior looked on this thing. I love the rear wing. The doors are super light on this thing. One thing you'll notice right off the bat is it says Wagoneer, but there's no American flag on it, and that's because this is built in Toluca, Mexico. It's not built in the U.S. Only the Jeeps that are built in the U.S. have the American flag on them. So like the Wrangler, Gladiator, the Grand Cherokee, and the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer are all built in the U.S. This is your charging port back here. The back is really sharp. That wing just stands way out, and it's all open underneath. The cool thing is the backup camera's up high. It's actually up here on the rear wing. The third brake light is down on this rear spoiler. This is an actual spoiler. When I actually got my hands on the car and actually went around it, this is an actual lower spoiler too for aerodynamics. But the third brake light, the LED brake light's under there. It just overall it looks really, really good. It looks Jeep, but it's an urban Jeep. This one will not be trailer rated by any means. But, of course, every one of these is now badged as a 4xe because it's electrified and it's four-wheel drive. The only Wagoneer S badge you will see on it is in the rear pillars. It does say, of course, Wagoneer on the doors. But look at that interior. This is on right here. The screens aren't on. You do have a lower screen down here. You do have a passenger screen, and you have, obviously your gauge cluster. So there's tons of real estate. I want to say there's 45 inches of screen across the dash here. It does have haptic buttons just like the Charger Daytona. However, when I was in this one, they feel a lot better than the one that's in the Daytona. I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of haptic buttons. I can see that once this vehicle gets a makeover, I'm going to be pretty sure that people are going to be upset that it has haptic buttons, and they'll probably put actual physical ones in here. The new steering wheel design is the same exact. It doesn't have the same, the Charger has a 3-spoke design. This is just a 2-spoke, but it has that same shape, that squared off top and the flat bottom. I drove the Charger. I love that steering wheel. It was really nice. Felt really good in the hands. Your select train button is down here. It's basically a lever to go up and down. You got sand, snow, eco, air, auto, and sport modes. Your start button's the same exact start button that you get in the Charger, just put in a little different spot. So, yeah, it's great vehicle. The premium touches throughout the vehicle, I was really impressed. Even the door panels. The door panels uses this kind of you can kind of see it on the dash here. The treatment is like this aluminum feel to it, but I'm pretty sure it's plastic, but it feels cold to the touch, which is really nice. The back seat, you can see it's got plenty of room for being a D-segment SUV, actually more than what you would think, and you can see how far back this passenger seat is. It's actually like 1/4 of the way across the back door, but again, heated and ventilated seats standard in the back. It does have a 60-40 split seat in the back as well. And if we go, like I said, this is pretty much it. But there's a ton of these on Facebook Marketplace. Here's a black one. So you can see it's got the panoramic sunroof. It looks really good in black. I'm not a huge black person because I hate fingerprints on my car. But it looks really killer in this color. And you can see that panoramic sunroof. And then look at that wing. That wing looks killer. So, absolutely love it. Looks really good. The interior, again, the interior looks very good. Now you can get optional red seats, but you have to pay $1,000 more for it. So if you really want a red interior to kind of stand out, you can go for it, but I think the black does really good, but everything's black. If you don't like the all black interior, then you're probably gonna have to go with the red seats to kind of clash it up, because the A-pillars and everything are black. A couple more models. There's our article, but there's been quite a few of them hitting dealers right now, so we're really excited about it. I can't wait to get my hands on one of these vehicles. Here's another black one. They just look killer. The front looks really good. This one's kind of dirty because it just got off the truck, but you can see that wing. That wing looks awesome. And this one has a red interior, so you can kind of see the difference, the contrast with the red seats, but I don't know if it's worth $1,000 or not. But overall, I think it's a really cool vehicle. I can't wait to actually get my hands on driving one for a week. I've been asking Jeep to send me one when it gets in the press pool. So hopefully I get one. I can't wait to actually see, because honestly, like I said, this vehicle seems like it'd be a lot better fit for most people compared to the Charger Daytona. When you're talking performance and stuff, I was really impressed. Has the ambient lighting. Here's one in the snow. I mean, it just looks overall killer. So I think a lot of people will flock to this vehicle once they see it. And considering that I think it's still kind of overpriced for what it is, I still think it's a really good deal. Here you can kind of see the back hatch. Obviously, it's still in its delivery plastic, and the mats are back here. And then there's the charging box that comes with it. The only complaint I had, again, was there's no cubbies back here. With obviously your charging outlets right here and stuff, but I don't understand why they didn't put a cubby back here. There is a huge area underneath the back floor, but I just wish there was like a cubby you could stick something like, instead of having to pull the floor up when you have stuff on it, just to stick back here. That's the only complaint I have about the car. Other than that, it looks really, really good. So, but hopefully you'll reach a dealership near you and you can go check it out. Unfortunately, this is looking like it's going to be just strictly a battery electric vehicle. There's not going to be a hybrid model like the new Recon. So, unfortunately, that's just going to be how it is. I mean, it could change with Trump coming in and stuff like that. We could see a hybrid model, but it's doubtful. So, all right. Take and let me know what you think of the new Wagoneer S in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.